all in. I'm gonna throw it 2, 1, and I'm gonna come over the top.
Well, we need to start from the beginning because that is... There we go. Wow. That's hitting good this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a good fucking nasal breath. Get it below the belly button. Grab yourself a fucking little refreshment and suck that thing down. Might do a bag of smoke this morning. Now, if that doesn't make you move, I don't know what does, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 72 here. In the link, there'll be the weekly newsletter. I think it's the number 10. We've been doing it every week. So you just subscribe, and each week you get a newsletter of shit I'm reading, updates, some of the gems that I think that we should put in there from the podcast. So if you don't have time to listen to the podcast each week, you can check out the newsletter in the link, and they'll send you an email each week of some good shit. So, yeah, that's it. And then also patreon.com/redhawkrecap if you want to support the pod. If not, then click the subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing good. We're growing here. So in a minute here, we got my friend Troy Casey. He's a certified health nut on YouTube. He's the author of this book, Ripped at 50. He'll be here in a second, so we'll get to that. Some Twitter juice. It looks like Aljo's hurt, huh? Rumor has it Aljo hurt. So let's see what he says real quick.
You guys are probably wondering if we're going to fight or not. The fight's supposed to be myself and Henry Cejudo. I think that's all said and done. It's whether or not I could compete with this torn bicep again. Going through another training camp with a torn bicep against a guy who's stronger in the wrestling department, who will use
This is Aljamain Sterling, ladies and gentlemen, the current champion.
Wrestling more with inside leg trips, double legs, high crotches, and trying to run the pipe into these lifts. Where TJ probably, he just shoots and does these trips. It's a little bit different. This is more of a style where I can see myself jacking up underhooks, pressing him against the cage. I'm going to need this bicep to compete at 100%. And I don't take Henry Cejudo lightly, even though I did lay out all the ways that I could win and do that for 25 minutes. I got to make sure I'm in shape. And it's hard to get in shape when I have this thing compromising me the entire time. Yes, I can run. Yes, I can do sprints. Those are all cool, but I need to make sure I have the grappling endurance to go 25 minutes. With the guy like Henry, he's smaller, so his condition is going to be a little bit better because he's not going to be cutting as much weight as I'm going to be cutting. So I'm already compromised coming in. Yeah, you just go up a weight class. Guys, it's not that easy. The guys that are at 45 are cutting down almost as...
Troy, what's up, brother?
How's it going, brother?
Hey, you can sneak your way through those cords. What's up, man?
This is my assistant, Curtis.
Hey, Curtis.
And then let me hit the head real quick.
What are you going to hit?
Bathroom.
Oh, hit it, bro. It's right around the corner to the left. Okay. We'll continue on here.
Same amount of weight as I am. So I leave one problem to go up to 145 and deal with a different kind of problem. Size. Weight. When I fight, I only weigh about 151 to 152 pounds, sometimes 53. But that's not very heavy in comparison to what I walk around at. This morning I was 64 and a half. I was happy with that. My weight's coming down a little bit, but that's because I grappled. But again, it's hurting me. So it's like I'm healing, then I'm getting messed up again. And I'm like trying to see where I'm at to see, is it real?
So this makes things interesting. I mean, how long is he going to put that off? Because these biceps, I've had the torn bicep on both biceps, the same thing he's talking about, he's dealing with. And there's partial tears and then there's full tears. Full tears, both of them, I fully tore them. They tear right here at the elbow and the bicep crawls up your shoulder. And those were full tears. But a partial tear you can train through, but it is a bitch. Like when I fought on The Ultimate Fighter, I had a 3/4 partial tear on my bicep, so I couldn't throw my left hook. It took a lot of the power away, and then in that fight, it completely ripped off and rolled up my shoulder. So it's going to be interesting, but he is right. I mean, he needs to grapple, but it's going to we have hungry guys ready to fight. We have Cheeto ready to go, Corey ready to go, Sugar ready to go, Henry ready to go. Sugar already said, okay, if Aljo can't fight, let's do the interim belt with Henry and I in March. So we're going to find out. It's going to be, end of the day, it's going to be up to the UFC to be like, okay, we're going to sit and wait for another 3 months for Aljo. But the thing is, if he really wants to fix his bicep tendon, those surgeries take 6 months to recover. They're not easy recoveries. They're long fucking recoveries. They have to take your bicep tendon at the elbow, drill a hole through your forearm, take the tendon and put it through that hole, put a tab on the end of it, and then flip the tab sideways. So then your bicep tendon heals back and it can grow stronger. So it's going to be interesting for the bantamweight division. I'm sure we'll find out in the next 2 weeks what's going to go on and what's going to happen with it. Like I said, I think Brendan Schwab said that Dana's worried about some other shit right now. He's worried about some the whole slapping shit, and so I bet we'll get a lot of announcements in the next couple weeks. But that makes things interesting. Aljo's definitely not as big as we think he was or is, so pretty average. But we'll get to that MMA news here in a little bit. I got my friend Troy Casey. He's the Certified Health Nut on Instagram and Certified Health Nut on YouTube. Where did I first meet you, Troy? I've been familiar with you for a long time, and then you saw us at what fight, Sugar and I?
The Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight.
That's right.
And yeah, I've been following you guys since I saw you on the Joe Rogan podcast. People sent me, you talked about Paul Chek and putting him on the map, and you know, I was so grateful because I've been doing the same thing for Paul, really, you know, getting his word out there on holistic health and, you know, helping people as much as possible. And when I heard you guys on there, that was really powerful. And so I've been following you guys ever since.
Yeah, that's badass. I mean, I forget where I found out about Paul Chek, but I bought his book, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. And then, he heard us talking about it on one of his YouTube vlogs, so he sent Sugar and I his Holistic Lifestyle Coaching 1 program, and my girlfriend and I did that together, and it really kind of, us doing that together, it really kind of changed our lives and put us on a good path. I was already kind of into eating healthy and eating organically, but he really breaks it down about the water, the good organic food, the moving, the breathing, the sleeping, everything. And your book, Ripped at 50, I was gandering through it this morning, and there's just a bunch of good stuff in here. Just so much good stuff that we're both into, so I was kind of excited to talk to you, bro.
Yeah, Paul really helped me, you know, put it all together because I had been studying herbalism and fasting and nutrition as my own digestive issues. And, you know, but I still had a lot of bloating, and I couldn't get my muscle tone on, you know, just as, you know, walking out of the bed, you know, in really good shape. And so I'd always have to get into shape. And about 5 or 6 years after I started studying with Paul, it all came together, and hence the book.
Yeah, I mean, it's freaking awesome. And I think so many older people in their 50s, in their 40s, 50s, 60s need this because everyone's like, oh yeah, they don't worry about their health until it's the fucking issue.
Yep.
It's the problem.
And 9 out of 10 people are metabolically dysfunctional in the United States of America. 70% of the American people are obese or overweight still. And so this is very important information for people.
Mm-hmm. Because it might have been a couple years ago, but I looked up the number one cause of death in the United States was heart disease. Mm-hmm. So I was like, sheesh, there's a fucking issue there. But let's go over a couple of things that can help our listeners that we've been into for a while from Troy's book, Ripped at 50. First one's ice bath. The cold is merciless but righteous. Don't think about it too much, but before you submerge your body in ice water for 1 to 3 minutes, this death-defying act forces the blood to rush to your vital organs to fight for your very survival. It helps balance your hormones, strengthen your immune system, and test your spiritual foundation. Learn to be okay with it, to be okay in the face of chaos, and you will fortify your mind and body. A lot of people don't have ice baths, so there's also cold showers. Rolling out of a warm bed into a shower is a healthy way to start the day. Start with your extremities, letting the water splash on your arms and legs, then put your face into the water. Get both sides of your torso, then let the water pound your chest and get your heart pumping. keep that baby on the cold as possible. Just deal with it. Finish by letting the cold water from the crown run from the crown of your head down your spine. This daily dose of medicine helps wipe the sleep from your eyes and invigorate your mind for the day. I mean, that's hard for people to do because it's just you wake up, you're warm and you're comfy and you just got done cuddling with your girl. And it's like, now I'm willingly going to cause myself some distress. But it's just a few minutes of distress for the benefits. How long have you been cold plunging?
Well, Paul got me into cold showers right away. So that would have been about 2011. And it wasn't until I started having one at my house. That was about 2016, 2017, and starting to get in it consistently. I just got out of an ice bath, actually.
Me too.
And so, yeah, I feel great, you know. And I went through a divorce in 2017 and just waking up with a lot of anxiety and, 4 o'clock in the morning, like, holy shit, divorce, sleeping on my couch, not feeling really connected to my family. And that hurt, it hurt a lot. And so I would just bring that into the cold shower and I would do breath work as well and really help me get out of my head and the anxiety and really get into my body. And I got incredible results from it. So I just keep doing it. And, I hate the ice bath just like anybody else.
Right? Every single morning. It doesn't get easier. It does get more familiar. I get more familiar with the pain. And every time I get there, just like automatically going through my mind, you're like, you're okay. You're okay. Just sit here. Just sit here. It's just temporary. Each one of these subjects we could talk about for a full podcast, but I want to bounce around to a couple different ones. This was a good one this was in the relationships chapter. It was talking about when you got divorced from your wife and you had your 2 kids. Words are easy, actions are hard. The divorce was final, but it didn't feel like the end of anything. Yuri and I had brought 2 souls into this world, and like it or not, we were linked together forever. And we still fought about how to raise the kids. I was a disciplinarian. She was permissive or nurturing. Pick your verb. When it was my time to have them, they'd come over to my house, we'd go camping or hang out at the beach or ride bikes or swim in the ocean. Everybody had chores at dinner time. Athena would chop the herbs and sweep the floor. Little Troy did the dishes and took out the trash. One time Yuri came to pick them up and asked them to wait in the car while we had an adult conversation. "They're not your maids, Troy," she said. "Why are you always making them do chores? They're too young." Gosh. Like, I think being a parent, you just want your kids to do all the nice things. But I've been around so many different people and different kids that their parents did that for them. They did everything. They did their dishes. They did their laundry. They picked up all their shit after them. And now these kids go and live on their own, and they can't live with roommates. They can't really have a good partner because they're just bucking heads all the time because they never were taught to pick up after themselves or never were taught to do the dishes or clean. I thought that one was really good because I think a lot of people deal with that. And I'm sure it's hard as a parent to be the disciplinarian when the other one's the one like, oh, do whatever you want, have your fun.
But she also calls me now with the many challenges, and I present her with possible solutions. And then she likes, I don't want to put my ex-wife in a bad light whatsoever, but she offers a little bit, of excuses. And I'm like, you can have, your desires or you can have your excuses, but you can't have both. And so I like to administer my kids, a heavy dose of tough shit, and not, make their life difficult to the extreme or abuse them or by any means, but really offer them, hey, it's tough shit, make your bed, wash your dishes, clean your bathroom, because when you get out in the world, nobody's going to do that for you. And there is going to be other heavy doses of tough shit. You're going to get fired from a job, end of relationship. And so the more resilient you can be in your younger years, that's going to teach you how to be strong outside. And that's all I'm doing is cultivating, awake adults. I'm cultivating adults is really what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I think just definitely if you're just coddling your kid every single position, never making them do chores, never making them do it, you're really doing them a disservice. Mm-hmm. You really are. You're setting them up to just not be self-sufficient as an adult. Another one in this relationship chapter I like, you were talking about your gratitude journal and your 100 days of the gratitude journal, but you were saying all the things you were grateful for. I'll start with one. I'm grateful for the emotional abuse I endured, as it helped me focus on being a better father. I'm grateful for growing up on the street, as it made me strong. I'm grateful for my father dropped me off on the side of the street, as it taught me how to be resilient. I'm grateful for my upbringing, as it helped me understand that everyone has a shadow, including me. There's paragraphs between this too, but I like this. You went off on all the bad things that happened in your life, but then you were talking about how you're grateful for them, how they turned you into who you are now.
Yeah, the principle that I like to call it is collapsing the wave, as in quantum mechanics. So when you bring light to the negativity, it neutralizes it. And so, and I think there's power in that. And so I think too often, I can get caught up, we can get caught up in, fuck this, fuck that, this is a problem. And then, hey, let's find some gratitude. Let's find the silver lining and really find the blessings in that, because this is a blessed life. And when we can understand that, the difficulties become easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird because you almost have to go through that hard, tough shit and come out of it to even realize that.
Yeah, otherwise we can play the victim, and that's so in vogue today.
Right?
And it's disgusting to see on the internet of, really playing the victim. We are the victory in the light, is my understanding. This is a spiritual game, and the more we can stay out of victim consciousness and really accept it, because let's face it, as my meditation teacher said, so many times the things that we want in life or crave, they don't happen. And then who are you then? The things that we want in life don't happen, and the things that we don't want to happen. Mm-hmm. And so can we work with acceptance and understanding? At least that's where my spiritual rubber meets the road. How much understanding, acceptance, forgiveness, really that level of understanding, because I don't want to be jaded, right? I went through a divorce. I don't want to be jaded about women. My parents, they had their own challenges, and I'm so grateful, because how else would this have galvanized me into the human being that I am right now? And so I just keep showing up for myself and for life.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows how many people your books have helped, or your YouTube. Your YouTube's pretty poppin'. How many people you've saved from your YouTube and your book, going through the experiences you went through.
I mean, I'm so grateful to hear, people write me, their 90-year-old grandmother, has been helped by the Qigong, or just ideas. People walk up to me. Where was I? I was just in Vegas this weekend, and I go over to Lifetime, and a guy walked up to me, and he's like, I'm just so grateful for you. And that happens to me here in Scottsdale as well. Somebody thanked me the other day for just bringing the energy to Scottsdale, and I'm just being myself, so I don't really think I'm doing anything. But to have those types of accolades come up to me off the street, again, I'm so grateful to be alive and to be able to share anything.
Yeah, and Paul talked about that too. He's like, even when Sean and I went to visit him at his place, he just says, you guys have a platform, like you guys have the ability to help a lot of people.
Yes. And
that's kind of stuck with me ever since he said that, so I'm enjoying spreading the good word. Finally, I started getting, I mean, we've ordered water to our house for a while, but it was always in the plastic. But finally we said, fuck it. We're going to pay the $30 per 5 gallon and order the Mountain Valley spring water. Where do you get your water from?
I go up to Sedona occasionally. I have a reverse osmosis machine in my house, and then filtration system in my house, which does need to be changed, and the filters need to be changed out. And then I have 2 devices that restructure water. I have a vitalizer, which I've had for 15 years. It throws it over a vortex or a tornado over a coral calcium charge, so rocks from the ocean. And then I have a molecular hydrogen machine that a brother who had 300 tumors prayed to God and said, if you heal me, I'll get out there and proselytize for you, God. And he sent me a $2,500 machine. I don't sell them, and I don't even think he sells them, but it's the Lourdes Hydroflex. And it's the most studied molecule on the planet, and it has over 1,000 peer-reviewed studies. So I have those two devices, and then I also use ionic minerals to restructure the water and mineralize the water, because it's not just about the water and the hydration, it's about the mineralization.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious, when you do the reverse osmosis, do you add stuff back in it?
Yeah, either the vitalizer restructures the water and adds minerals, the ionic minerals, or the hydrogen machine all does that.
So you got some powerful water going.
I'm doing the best I can.
Right? Household water. The quality of the water that you put on your body in baths and showers is also important. Our skin has a higher absorption rate than the linings of our stomach, and we need to be mindful of what we allow ourselves to come in contact with. I've installed a quadruple filtration system in my home. This reverse osmosis system filters out many contaminants in my mutable water supply to help keep my family safe. I'm hoping to get a new water filter for my showers and stuff.
Yeah, I got the guy, Billy Ozone. He's been doing ozone treatments.
He's in town here?
He is in Los Angeles, but he works kind of with the celebrities who's who out there. I think he did Gwyneth Paltrow's system, but I met him in San Francisco in the 90s, and he was living in the Castro and helping a lot of guys that had AIDS at the time. And so he's been working with ozone filtration systems. That's where I get my shower filters from, Billy Ozone.
I'm going to have to hit him up.
Yeah, yeah.
Drinking water. Drinking the purest water possible is just as important as eating the highest quality natural organic foods. It is essential. For my drinking water, I have artesian spring water delivered in glass containers. Artesian spring water is filtered through the earth for thousands of years and becomes naturally mineralized in the process. When considering the cost of glass containers over plastic, remember that water is the most powerful solvent on earth. Water that sits in plastic, especially where light is present, can introduce xenoestrogens. As the name implies, xenoestrogens come from external sources but are similar enough to estrogens to confuse your body. The xenoestrogens can disrupt reproduction and other natural processes.
And they can block receptor sites. Everybody wants the testosterone, but they don't know that they're poisoning themselves with xenoestrogens and phytoestrogens like soy as well. So it really comes down to balancing the hormones. And
I wonder how many problems in people's lives are coming. That's the last place they're looking, is what water they're drinking. They're drinking some shitty water. Maybe they're drinking even tap water from the city, and they're having all these health problems or anxiety or all these different things. And they're trying to find all these answers. It could be coming from the water, right?
Absolutely. And this isn't a license to become neurotic either, because that's also going to lower your testosterone and imbalance your hormones.
What do you mean, a license to become neurotic?
Well, because water, it goes into detail, many different things. So do the best you can. Reverse osmosis is probably optimal, but from there, treat your water. But that doesn't mean, like, for example, if you're dehydrated, it's going to affect your brain. If tap water is all that you have available from some municipal water fountain, then drink that. If you're exercising, you're out, you're in the desert, or even you're hot on the beach or whatever, feed your brain in that real time. Don't wait until you're completely dehydrated. That can cause other problems. So the thing is with nutrition and water, what I see a lot of my followers and clients do is they'll get neurotic and they'll say, oh, this problem and that problem. Drink water out of plastic if you have to. Drink tap water if you have to. But work your lifestyle around finding optimization around your water. And that education process may take a little while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love that the Paul's advice was the same as you. Do the best you can. Mm-hmm. Even if you can't eat organic, maybe just do the best you can. Maybe eat some things organic and do the best you can with where you're at. I still want to get one of those pH testers from like the pool store to just check the pH, even on the Mountain Valley and stuff, just to give it a good testing. Because the pH, the drips, right? It kind of tells you what pH your water is. I need to start doing that.
And the ultimate is really how it makes you feel. Look in the mirror and the toilet bowl are my diagnostic tests, for the most part.
Did you fucking explode all over the toilet bowl? Well, maybe something's not digesting right.
Right.
Yeah. And quality food. I mean, the importance of quality food. We try to talk about that all the fucking time. Try to talk about that all the time. And the same thing. Just do the best you can. What do you think about these people like a Carnivore MD that are purists on on one diet.
Again, that goes for extreme neurosis, especially if you don't have his education and his lifestyle and you've figured out a few things and you're navigating it. The other thing is he's in partnership with Liver King, and Liver King, you know, he's got some good information, but he's on $12,000 worth of steroids every month, and he wasn't telling people that.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a bait and switch. Take everything that you see on the internet with a grain of salt, do the best you can, and start moving towards optimization for yourself. There's lifestyle factors. You know, I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I know where to source, good food, grass-fed meats, high-quality eggs, etc. You go to Alabama or Arkansas, it's not available. There are not Whole Foods, on every street corner.
You're eating your cousin for all you know.
And so, do the best you can. Wrap your mind around it. There's plenty of frozen meat companies. North Star Bison will ship directly to your house. You can work with a grass-fed farmer or go to Joel Salatin's farm, Polyface Farms out in Shenandoah Valley. Go on his website. Order it directly from his farms. My Superfood store has organic food that we've been growing on volcanic ash beds for over 30 years. So there are some farmer direct that you can get mail order. The other stuff, just do the best you can. Work towards that reverse osmosis system in your house. Get a shower filter. Maybe shower less. People are worried about, soaps. And again, Carnivore MD is putting out good information. He talks about the phthalates in your soaps and how he doesn't use
and same with Liver King, like putting out good information.
They do have good information on the primal lifestyle. It's just, I like to hold the bar high. And if you're on $12,000 worth of steroids, it may not be the desiccated liver that they're trying to sell. And so just the invitation is always to go deeper.
Yeah. And with the reverse osmosis, like don't go to the gas station, get distilled or wherever and reverse osmosis and chug the whole thing. Get your reverse osmosis, maybe put some Celtic sea salt in it. Get some minerals in it, and then charge up, right?
Yeah, that's very simple. Celtic sea salt is available. Real salt, which is a mine from Utah, it's available commercially in most of the food stores. Drop a pinch in there, and that's going to help you mineralize. Again, it's not just necessarily the water. It's the mineralization with the water. You want to hold those minerals and the hydration in the body.
Yeah, sweet. And then another good tip I got from the HLC course is just I just Googled organic foods, organic farms near me, and that popped up. So is there some organic farms in Scottsdale?
I'm not sure about the local sourcing. I usually there's a butcher in Arcadia, I know, that has local grass-fed stuff, but the Whole Foods near my house has excellent source.
Oh God, that place is dangerous for the chicks also.
It's great.
Holy smokes.
I love it over there. And you have to also navigate, the highest quality for yourself. Try it, test it, try the grass-fed. Not everything is 100% over there. They also have farmed fish. And so source the best. Their wild fish a lot of times is frozen. So test things out, see how it tastes. But what I tell my clients and followers is that you need a lot less because people complain about the price. But when it comes to nutrition, when you're eating high quality, you need a lot less in the calories. And so it makes a huge difference. And you can feel that in your body as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's crazy because the more in tune you get with yourself, the more you start eating organically, you start sleeping good. It's crazy how just the littlest shit can upset your body. You have some corn syrup and you're like, what the fuck? I feel just sluggish or shitty all of a sudden. Do you do coffee?
I do coffee right now, but I like to rotate off of it. Paul Chek helped me out with that as well. The coffee bean trick. So you take a handful of coffee beans, you chew maybe 3 first thing in the morning, maybe a couple more before 11 a.m.
Chew them and swallow them.
Chew them and swallow them. Dark roasted organic beans are best. It has more fat in them to help the caffeine metabolize slower. Then within 3 to 4 days, you wean yourself off the beans, and then you're off caffeine without the body aches, without the headaches. And so I've been doing that for years. I go off caffeine for 2 or 3 years at a time. I'm currently on 1 cup of coffee for the last 3 years or so. And I got to watch it because I burned myself out on caffeine as well. And Andrew Huberman Labs just came out with a viral video. There's a hormone or something that is in your receptor sites when you wake up, and after 90 minutes that gets released. And if you put the caffeine in after that 90 minutes, there's less of a yo-yo crash. And so I tried that. It worked. Thank God for the internet. Right. And because I was burning out. I was waking up first thing in the morning, having that cup of coffee, 11 a.m. All of a sudden I'm burned out. I feel like a nap. And so that 90-minute thing just really helped for me. And I do prefer to be off caffeine. I'm 57 years old now. And after having kids, you kind of get really tired and worn out. And so I really fine-tuned my relationship with caffeine. So 1 cup a day is not that bad for me right now.
I bet like when you take that big long break and then you have your first cup back, I bet you're just fired up.
Well, that's the issue with that drug. You know, it's like you go off it and you're like, wow, I feel so much better. And then, 2-3 years later, you have that one espresso and you're like, wow, this is the greatest drug on the planet.
How do you usually make your espresso?
Currently, I'm just going to Whole Foods, and those guys over there make it for me. And so, again, with the whole neurosis element, do I want perfection or do I just want a good quality caffeine buzz first thing in the morning? And so I'll go over to Whole Foods and they pour a nice drink for me.
Nice. What about marijuana? Do you do marijuana much?
I did a good run during coronavirus. I did 3 solid years. And of course I have a vaporizer as well. And I love the tobacco. And
where do you get your tobacco real quick? I really want to try the tobacco with the weed in my volcano.
I think my team gets it from Pipes and Cigars, which is Paul Check's place in San Diego.
I got to get some of that.
Yeah, it's Peter Stokeby.
So I wonder if I could order it, do you think?
Yeah.
I could order it?
Yeah, we'll get you the information for it, but I got to warn people out there, tobacco is powerful. It's a powerful spirit, and nicotine is a powerful drug. And so I don't recommend it. That's why I don't talk about it that much. But yes, I have a vaporizer. I love tobacco, right? My relationship with tobacco and the tobacco spirit's powerful. I worked in the Amazon for many years, and I brought back the Nicotina rustica, which is the most powerful tobacco on the planet. But it's highly addicting, like caffeine. And so, really watch it. And, you can use it for prayer. You can use it to ground you. You can use it to clear negative spirits, is what the shamans have always used it for. And so, is that me? Shit.
Someone's giving you a jingle. Yeah.
Usually I have everything turned off as well.
Because usually, people, a lot of my listeners probably are younger and think nicotine and tobacco, they're thinking of cigarettes. But we're talking about a pure tobacco, a clean tobacco.
Yeah, I think everything comes down to quality right now. So if you're talking about tobacco, if you're talking about food, get the highest quality that you can. Tobacco is a sacred plant. The use of tobacco traditionally was to ground you and to clear negative energy, and that's the shaman's use of tobacco. It's very effective at doing that. And so, and I run a lot of hot energy. I'm around a lot of people, and so tobacco is my ally. I'm very clear on that. Also, I understand that nicotine and tar can build up in the lungs, so of course I use the vaporizer. And then I like to cycle off things just like caffeine. And so currently I'm in the process of cycling off of it, and it feels good for me. I'm pretty dangerous when I'm clear. And I started smoking weed. My wife and I, we got back together in 2019. We did an ayahuasca ceremony in Costa Rica, and ayahuasca really helped her get clear and see her participation in our relationship, and that was one of the elements that helped us get back together. And then I have a hot temper. I got a lot of energy, and so smoking a little bit of marijuana helped cool my jets and really make me just be a little bit more docile around the family. And so and then coronavirus, lockdowns, and I had a lot of time on my hands. And so I really started enjoying the process of marijuana and the tobacco. And after 3 years of a strong run on that, I'm ready to cycle off of that.
That's pretty badass that you do the cycles on and off and stuff. So if I did a little mix of, I found some really clean tobacco and a little mix of marijuana, what kind of feeling does the tobacco give you?
Very grounding and clearing. It's very strong for me. And I like to mix some flowers and some other herbs and plants. Paul has the best recipe for that. And he's actually been making some vaporizing plants videos recently.
So is there a certain temp that you need to for the vaporizer do the tobacco at?
I try different
temps,
different temps, and really see how my lungs, absorb it and take it in. And so it's really has to do with consciousness. It's not this or that, bad or good, because everything serves a purpose. And I realized that doing shamanic medicine in South America back in 2008, because I partied a lot as a model and really had to sober up. And then I found myself in Vilcabamba, Ecuador, and I was working with San Pedro with a shaman, and he offered me 4 cups that night, and the ceremony didn't end after about 12 hours, and the mountains were moving. And so I know what's going to calm my nervous system, what's commercially available. It's going to calm my nervous system. I was staying at a hotel, and so I hadn't had a drink in about 8 years, and I went down to the bar, and I grabbed a couple of beers, and sure enough, my nervous system was very calmed down. I had my son at the time, my daughter, my wife went out for she just went to go run an errand, and my son was crying, and the mountains were moving and breathing.
That was from San Pedro?
That was from San Pedro. Yeah, I had 4 cups of San Pedro, and I'm always trying to look for enlightenment in a shamanic ceremony. So I said, I figure more is better. And the mountains were breathing, and my son was crying, and my nervous system was all jacked up, and I'd been up all night. And so I just went down to the bar and got a couple beers, and sure enough, it calmed my nervous system. And what I realized on that psychedelic experience is all substance serves purpose, depending on what your use for it is, and then your relationship with it. And then after that, I didn't have another drink. It's not like I just went out and started partying again. Yeah. And so that was my experience at that time. And so all substance serves purpose. And so when you have respect and reverence for it, it's a different relationship than just complete debauchery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm scared to do. I'm not scared. I'm excited because I know I definitely want to do one of those ayahuasca ceremonies and stuff. What are those like?
Well, they can be extremely powerful. They can be extremely euphoric for some people. It can be a walk through hell for other people. And the shamans in the Amazon, they say those are usually the best ceremonies, because if you can walk through hell, then everything else is gravy.
So it might bring you back to whatever trauma you had at a younger time?
Sure. Offer you a glimpse of the life that you're living and the future that may be in front of you. And so it's an opportunity to wake up. Some people get really caught up on the stories on the internet of seeing the angels and, having that euphoric experience. But I don't like to mislead people, because they could go down to the Amazon or drink ayahuasca here in North America and have a very powerful, guttural, soul-drenching experience. And so it's not child's play. I've been teaching people that for years. I've got 17 years of content on the internet about ayahuasca, and it's not child's play. It's to be respected and revered, and it will teach you. And you can also do microdoses. A lot of cancer patients I would see in the Amazon working with the shamans, and they would give them homeopathic dosages. They would give them small amounts of it. And but the icaros and the songs and being in ceremony is usually enough, And that's why I put the icaros on my YouTube channel, the songs. You can just put your headphones on and go back and listen to it as a meditation. And it has the power of ayahuasca that sings the songs through the chakras. And so I recommend starting there, you know, watching those videos, those Icaros. And I have a playlist on my YouTube channel, and you know, anybody can listen to it from there.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, I think it's been about 6-7 years that I've kind of learned about biohacking, and I started listening to Ben Greenfield a little bit. What kind of biohacking and stuff do you do each day? Do you have, like, what's your sleep like, and do you have a chili pad? Do you have any of these things?
I try and keep everything based in nature, right? Biohacking in nature is free, and this is where it all comes from anyhow. So I like the creek in Sedona. I go up there as much as I can, jump in that. My sleep is optimized. I get to bed as best I can, 10 p.m. You know, and I'm a modern day warrior. I'm on the cell phones. I'm on social media. I work a lot on that. So those electromagnetic radiation, you know, that's around me. So I do need to get out in the sunlight. Do need to get out, grounding. Get out early in the morning. Pump my body. Pump, you know, the pump for your lymphatic fluids. And I like to say that the purpose of exercise is to move your lymph. A stagnant body of water turns into a cesspool. So if you want cancer or problems, don't move your body. Sit on the couch. And so I like to get my body out there every morning, move my body, whether that's walking or going and pumping weights. And then as much nature as I possibly can, you know, getting out on the trails. I live near the McDowell Mountains. So getting out there, I like barefoot walking, and the rocks are sharp here. And so all that, you know, acupuncture goes right up into my meridians of my feet. So I like that. You know, I spend a lot of time with my children. I have electric bikes. And when I was in Los Angeles for 25 years, I lived on the beach primarily so I could have a walking lifestyle or a bicycle lifestyle. I could go out to the beach. There's no cars on there. And I could go down to Gold's Gym. And that was a big part of my lifestyle, is being outside in the sun, moving my body all day, every day, which is the way we used to roll as hunter-gatherers. The body is designed to move, not be stagnant and sitting in cars and at desks and shutting down our hip flexors, and the glutes go right after that. And so movement is medicine is how I like to roll.
Hell yeah. So what's the average, you're 57 now, what's the average day of eating look like? Do you wake up and eat first thing, or?
Yeah, I don't like to eat. In fact, that's kind of, you know, my career. I was a Versace model back in the day. I had
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I said, so I was living in Milan, and I used to bloat.
Did that come with a lot of chicks?
I mean, I've always had tons of chicks around me, you
That's
know,
badass.
And I'm not a player. That's the thing. I'm not a player. You know, I like women. I like to talk to them. And where I'm at 57 is, you know, I've been celibate for the last 2 years. I've had a little bit of challenges. And once you have sex with
2 years celibate.
2 years celibate, once you have sex with a woman, well, first of all, you know, I got divorced at 50. And then I thought, whoa, free lunch, sex, Tinder, Bumble. Wow, this is new. Because before I got married, there was no social media. There was no phones, right? No cell phones in your back pocket. So all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, free lunch. Let's go out and bone some chicks and have a good time. Well, I was 50 at the time, and I had a business. I had a family.
Book just came out.
My children. Yeah, the book came out when I was 53, actually. And so I was working on the book at the time, but I had a lot of responsibilities. And all of a sudden, you don't text a girl back. They get all emotionally charged. And so I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't need this much responsibility. Let me just pull back. And that's how I got back with my wife at the time, because I think I did about a year of celibacy after a year of debauchery and then a year of celibacy. And then I got back with my ex-wife. And this time around as well, you know, I started dating girls, and I have a little bit more celebrity and fame right now. And, you know, people want to steal from you, and then people want to cause problems in your life, or, you know, say this thing or that thing. And so I just cut it all off. And so it's just one more stress and one more thing that I didn't have to deal with. And so I just went celibate. And
And what was the process of that like? So say you're used to fucking chicks all the time, and then you get horned up.
Well, I was never a player. Let's be clear on that. I've always liked a relationship, although I've had my fair share of sleeping around, you know?
And then so you decide you're going to go celibate one day, and then 2 days come down the road and then you're horny again. And then how do you counter those thoughts?
Well,
just jay it.
You know, and I practice sexual kung fu as well, so I like to hold my seed in, right? And
sexual kung fu?
Sexual kung fu, tantra, really just cultivating your energy internally. There's exercises, especially for men, and if you look at the statistics on prostate cancer, it's a good idea to play with your junk. I've got some viral videos, and I'm on a Netflix show right now with ball slapping. So
just smacking your balls up?
Smacking your balls up. I learned that from Rhino Ryan Hughes, the motocross champion of the world. And he sent me a video one time, and he's no homo. And I was like, what the hell is this shit? He was slapping his balls, and I tried it. And I was like, holy fucking shit. And then
what does it do?
So it builds testosterone, and it brings energy into that area. So prostate cancer, men over 60, pretty much you're going to die if there's a high chance of probability you're going to die of prostate cancer right now, just because the sediment and the toxins go into your pelvic floor and they rest down there. If you're not bringing the circulation, so in Chinese methodology, which is 5,000 years old, everything's about qi, energy, lymph flow, blood flow, circulation. And so, and your ligaments, you've got a ligament that goes from your tongue down into your genitals, through your heart into your genitals. So there's exercises to keep all that supple, and so, or to keep it flowing. And so I learned some of those exercises. I studied with some coaches that work with Montauk Chia. He's probably the foremost guy on sexual kung fu and internal. It's basically internal energy through your organs. And then, of course, your reproductive organs. This is where the most powerful creativity comes from. As human beings, we have the power to create life. And so when you cultivate that energy properly, you have less problems. Women get cysts down there as well. And so you'll see them talking about the jade eggs and steaming the yoni and just really taking care of your genitals, giving it some attention, because you can have problems down there. And so
sugar. We're talking about sexual kung fu. Sexual kung fu is because Troy here was a Versace model at one time, and then he decided to go celibate, so he practiced sexual kung fu. And I'm curious to look into that. So you just take that horny energy and you try to do something else with it.
Well, you bring it up your spine into your third eye and create. Right? We have the power of the creator inside of us. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, written in the, I think, 20s. Chapter 11 is all on cultivation of your sexual energy.
So when you're busting 2-3 times a day, you're losing that creative energy.
Oh, fucking A. 2 or 3 times a day, man. That's
you're just emptying all your powers.
Shit. Yeah. And there's balance to that, right? So the pendulum swings both ways. So if you go to complete abstinence, then the pendulum can swing to complete debauchery. So I like to keep it balanced. Maybe bust a nut, once or twice a month, if I can. And but you guys are a lot younger than me, so have at it, But at least you heard the conversation now, right? So you can start cultivating that energy, as you move into your 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah, and then so that's a good one I'll check out is the sexual kung fu.
Well, fighters do that anyways, right? Don't you hold your seed? Not everybody.
Some people do. There's been times I've fucked hours before walking to the cage and still whoop some ass. So it could be different. It's hard to say. But after a good couple busts, I mean, one day if you do bust 2, sometimes 3, it's like you do feel a little empty.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's all about energy. So however you cultivate it. And also it's all about human experiment, right? It's the same thing with the weed or the caffeine. You play around with it and you respect it and you know that it's got powerful energy, especially when it comes to tobacco or sex. And then, this is a human experiment. Everyone's on a spiritual journey. So play with the energy, understand it a little bit more. The best thing that you can do is have understanding. And so especially of your sexual energy and how to channel that properly. And so I think Tesla was also celibate. you know, to build all his inventions and really download that information. And so it's just a tool in the toolbox. Sometimes you go for this, sometimes you go for that. And so for me, you know, to stay out of trouble, you know, so I'm looking for that traditional woman that does want to have children because I want to have more kids. I'm here to create a legacy. And so I have 2 amazing children right now. One's playing hockey. That's why I'm here in Scottsdale. And then my daughter's 12 as well. And, you know, raising kids in the TikTok world, you know, that's a big challenge. And so I talk to them straight. I teach them straight. I talk to them straight. My daughter's getting 12 right now. She has ballet class. She starts talking about fat thighs and body dysmorphia. And I'm like, cut that shit, you know?
Yeah,
it's brutal. Like, you're talented, you're smart, you're intelligent, you have gifts, you know? Don't get caught up in the dysfunction. And then she doesn't want to hear it. Dad, I don't want to hear that anymore. Tough shit. You get to hear it because this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
And
how do you, because so many people just have so many, just for you being able to quit caffeine, being able to quit weed, being able to go celibate, all this stuff, that takes some serious fucking discipline. And that's what I think just people have such issues with. They're just such pussies in their head. And maybe pussy isn't a good word, but their lack of discipline and lack of control over themselves. Did a lot of that come from meditation?
Well, meditation helped, but so did all the pain and discomfort from the pain and not having the life that I wanted, the emotional pain, you know, breaking the curse of generational poverty, stuff like that, and really looking in the mirror and looking in the toilet bowl, the best diagnostic tools I know, and saying, you know, what do I want? And being frustrated, being broke, being frustrated, being sick and tired. And so, and, you know, just saying enough. I got exposed to black mold as well, which is extremely dangerous, and it affects the respiratory.
How long were you exposed to the black mold?
2010 to 2013, and the place was nuked. If I walked back in that building today, I could feel it. The Arcadia Ice Den, where my son was playing, and I signed him up for a team, he got sick within, you know, 3 times in a month. I told him, one more time and I'm pulling you off that ice. I walked in there in September because it rained in September, right when I moved here, and I could just feel the mold in there. And it's ice in the desert. So, and, you know, landlords, they don't keep buildings up. And so it's a business for them. And so these buildings can get contaminated. So I've been re-exposed actually since I've been down here. And so I had chronic fatigue. I had autoimmune, right? People look at you, what's wrong with you, you know? And so after a while, I was just like, I have to get it up here and I have to heal myself. And there's nothing worse than being, you know, an athletic person that likes his health to be, you know, completely drained. You can't get out of the bed, and other, you know, respiratory issues. And so I just got it in my head and, you know, went for health on every single level. That's how I learned a lot of these things. And so you deal with enough pain, you look in that mirror and you want something else, you'll do anything.
Yeah. But then there's some people out there that are just they find the weed or they find the prescription pills, and then that's just their easy answer to just numb it. And they don't have the discipline like you or someone to just change in a healthy way. They take the easy route. And I don't know if you're born with that or where that comes from.
No, I just say bring the pain, you know, go deeper, feel that pain, look in that mirror. When you're sick and tired of the bullshit, you'll dig deep down into your soul and you'll do something about it. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to tell you that you can change. Anybody can change. Everyone's got the sum total of greatness and the sum total of darkness in their soul. And what do you want to express? If you've done the darkness road for a while, flip that coin over. Let's go for the greatness, because you have it in you. I believe in every single human being out there. I know because I've come from nothing.
Yeah, it's a lot of the stories in your book. I mean, fucking good, dude. Really good. So, I mean, thanks to that, we're about right at an hour. I feel like we could talk again. We'll definitely have to do it again.
Yeah.
It's good to meet you. Are you going to plan on staying in Scottsdale for a while?
Yeah, I just talked to my son yesterday. We're probably going to put him in a prep academy for his last 2 high school years. So I'm here for at least a year and a half.
Sweet, dude. You ever tried any jiu-jitsu?
I have. I learned from a family friend of Hicks and Gracie's. He was Hoxton's best friend. He was up in Sedona. And so at 56 years old, I started my jiu-jitsu career.
Hell yeah. Well, we got some older guys here too, and we have an awesome group here. You're welcome here as much as you want.
Thank you so much. And I talked to my son when he's done with his prep academy in March. We're going to get him back into jiu-jitsu, and so we'll definitely come out there. I've already been talking to him about this.
I also was talking to my girlfriend earlier. I was like, maybe I could talk to Troy. Maybe he could come out and help me build a rock water charger.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Stack some rocks.
Stack some rocks, hit a cold plunge. My girl's got horses. They're race horses, so we better not get on those. But we should do that.
That sounds great.
Dude, hell yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Guys, check them out. Ripped at 50. Maybe you could buy this book for your parents, or, I mean, there's so many 50-year-olds out there that just act old, and they just, I'm 50, I'm old now, I don't do things. I just sit here and be fat.
Well, the thing is I wrote that book for men, women, old, young, healthy, or sick. That applies to everyone. They're foundation principles. Hydration, nutrition, nature, relationships, and the most important, especially for men, is chapter 1, your legacy. You need a due north to get yourself out of bed every day. Dude,
fucking good shit. Certified Health Nut on YouTube and Certified Health Nut on Instagram. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much, Tim.
All right, love y'all. Bye-bye.